40 years experience in both digital content creation and AV and IT systems architecture. He's been involved in over 50 super yacht projects, and today he's here to tell you a story, which is rather a nice way to start the day. So, this is a very English thing I'm going to say. It might not mean anything to some of you from elsewhere in the world, but if you're sitting comfortably, then we'll begin. Please welcome Guy Buttierati.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for the introduction. Good morning. Happy to see you there. I hope we're going to share the story and it will relate to you. It will be something that will inspire you. And as much as passionate as it's a project we've been involved in. First, to begin with, who are we? Well, Jean-Pierre is somewhere in the room. We're Acumendo. And through the years, we reinforced a strong partnership within the French group sonvideo.com. And Arsenic and Connecting Technology are our closest team players. It's a cluster of enterprises with some French-Dutch, I would say. And when you will know which project we will talk about today, you will understand why a multi-tier group of companies supported by a strong backbone of enterprise and a strong legacy from long business lives in the superior technology market was so important. Talking about legacy, I know that in the show I've got lots of old friends, mentors, colleagues and former colleagues, and I must say I'm very honored to be here to share this story with you. It's the story of a dream came true. The story of teams and partners working together to make it happen. The story of what I think is an exceptional vessel. Well, it's the story of the sailing yacht Art Explorer. Gorgeous. Fantastic vessel, I must say. She is, as of today, the largest catamaran in the world with 47-meter length, 17-meter beam, 3.5-meter draft, and a mast of over 54-meter high. So it's just below 500 gross storage displacement boat with solar panels and a battery bank to help the generators supply greener power throughout the accommodations, and no need for huge diesel engines. Catamarans are very efficient boats. She was built with an absolutely outstanding sailing rig. That is by itself a big piece of innovation, propelling her swiftly. It's not a sport boat, right? It's not for the America Cup, yeah. But she's greener than most super yachts. She's elegant and cool. I would say very desirable indeed. Axel de Beaufort designed her with Guillaume Verdier as a naval architect. Axel de Beaufort is a French designer working also for Hermes, so he's the perfect blend of luxury and boat efficiency. He's passionate by wooden boats, hull boats, and also advanced rigging. Axel's interior design team, the team is called Nasira in Paris, crafted a very elegant outfitting. Nothing fancy, just elegant, tasteful. And what happened, the catamaran attracted a lot of attention and praises during last year's Monaco Yacht Show. The public could discover remarkable lines. And Perini Navy, Building Shipyard, and Fraser Yacht, the build project and charter management company, could have their selected guests have a glimpse of a beautiful and tasteful interior. Yet, this already interesting yacht is much more than what meets the eyes. She is the very first and very unique museum boat. Yes, a museum boat. let's say, in a few months of the year, she will be an owner cruise and charter boat. And the rest of the time, after maintenance periods, she will be fitted as the museum boat. Well, let's go back in time. Frédéric Jousset, a French entrepreneur with successful business, a multinational company called Webhelp, decides to somehow retire from his position within his co-founded company and punch some items in his personal achievement bucket list. Climbing Mount Everest, crossing the Atlantic on board a sports sailboat, and more. But Frédéric Jousset's true and deep passion is art. As a matter of fact, his legacy, his family legacy. So he decided to fund and create Art Explorer Foundation. Art Explorer is a multi-activity organization dedicated to bringing art discovery closer and closer to the people. All kinds of artistic expressions. And amongst many initiatives, there is a secret dream of a boat being also a museum. From port of call to port of call, she would be the center act during a couple of weeks festivals, both dockside and on board. Well, I think you get the idea now. It's a fantastic idea, I must say. Let's say that 60% of the population worldwide lives close to the shoreline, and ports are trading and communication places since the antiquity. It's a simple idea, but a powerful one. Bring art for free to people around the Mediterranean for the first couple of years, and then worldwide later on. So the museum boat idea is bold, but how to realize it? Well, the idea of a catamaran with large main deck indoor area imposed itself. It makes it possible to temporarily install space designed to showcase digital content created by famous curators or artists. And here begins the technology part of this story. Well, how to design AVIT, audiovisual and IT systems, domotics, and in the same time, advanced immersive museography systems that fit the owner's requirement, and most importantly, how to implement it aboard a large catamaran. Fun and challenging, isn't it? First, the AV, IT and domotic parts of the system. Nothing fancy there. Only simple and elegant features. Something restrained. It's not a high luxury boat, but no compromise on comfort. And when it comes to AV/IT and domotics, we did of course rely upon Crestron for the AV, lights, curtains, air conditioning control, media distribution, and so on. You know the foundation, the strong support you can get from Crestron. Talking about Crestron, those who were yesterday night at the party, well, you remember, we are so grateful and happy that Art Explorer received the Crestron Marine Technology Award. What a night! And in the category Best Design Meets Technology, which goes straight to our heart, because this is definitely what we try to achieve. So, Crestron, thank you. Well, let's continue. We have also implemented our Accumendo user interfaces to bring a unified and stylish user experience for room control, digital media, and comprehensive boat and cruise information. And worth noting, we did implement an amazing integration of Crestron touch panels with Merjak's keypad. Merjak, French company, designed fantastic keypads, was the choice of Axel de Beaufort initially, and we now understand why. But we propose to integrate the flexible and powerful user interface and experience you can get from the small touch panels. You see? So both were very classic and very advanced and in a very attractive package. It is a success on board. Like we always do, and likely all the state-of-the-art AV integrators nowadays, I see some of them here, and we all do the same, we integrate all this on top of a solid IP network backbone. So we took advantage of architecture like DALI lighting control, Dante audio routing, and of course Crestron DM and VX for media distribution, for video distribution. Well, here begins the real challenge. We had the brief from Owner's team. Please, I'll build an immersive room in the dining lounge area, and we also want an outdoor display. There, remember, we are on the after deck of a boat, sunlight, salty atmosphere, etc. The brief. Each location where the show will take place, immersive room, after deck, flybridge, must accommodate an audience of 40 people, which gives around 160 visitors on board at any given time of the day. The goal? 2,000 visitors per day. Well, I'll let you imagine the long list of problems to solve. Okay? Going from brief to system architecture. Think of all the ancillary items like power supply, flight case handling, network and internet, even special gangways to put that in, right? But also tight installation spaces, technologies choices, project management, multi-tier teams coordination, etc., etc. Feel like a challenge, isn't it? First quadrant, which technology to choose for the immersive room to be installed in the large dining lounge space on main deck. Initially, competitors and ourselves tended to consider more traditional, seamlessly blended video projectors beams. But the first engineering round yielded very bad perspectives, ending up with 36 projectors and cumbersome screens to be deployed with no real solution whatsoever. But in the meantime, we were closely following the evolution of fine-pitch LED displays. And also, we made some mock-ups and tests. Remember, all this started some 2 years ago. And things in this domain are moving fast. I guess that some great vendors of technology in the show know what I am talking about, right? Layard, an American, European, Chinese company, came up with the perfect product and a great engineering team in Europe, in Slovakia. They provide carbon fiber LED cabinets, flex LEDs, for the necessary by design smooth curve, and also they designed an amazing aluminum profile structure, a design on our specifications. Look at this. They even engineer for us fixation studs on magnets for easier mounting and dismounting. Because what I'm talking about is more than 460 LED cabinets, 50 by 50 centimeter LED cabinets, and flex tiles. Imagine that. But that's not all. We had to accommodate 2 swing doors to go through the display walls. That's the only option to reach the port side and starboard side, have staircases that go down the hulls. Okay? Doors through display. Well, but the fun doesn't stop here. What would you believe? I mean, we had to make the structure able to cross sea passages while installed on board between port of calls. Okay, not with the LED cabinets in place, but the structure by itself has to withstand the poundings and structural deformation of a large catamaran. Remember, 2 hulls with some structure in between and a large mast on top of it that moves, that deforms. So the wall structure is fixed through silent blocks to temper and to cope with vibration and shocks. And the structure is made flexible and resilient enough to travel with the vessel. By itself, it was a huge challenge. Oh, just a small side story. You see the nice flex curve? Well, usually these flex tiles are horizontal. But there, they are horizontal and for narrow displays. But then you have 32 meter both sides of smooth curve at the top. And when the design team, the Slovakian design team, sent their first drawing and the order list to the factory, Chinese engineers called back and said, "Oh, not possible. For your display to be seamless, if you turn the tiles vertical, you have to turn each LED 90 degrees. There is 1 LED each 1.5 millimeter. You see, by the way, there are more than 50 million pixels LED in this tunnel. So the Shenzhen factory decided to make a very special vertical flex model for us. Well, now they have it in catalog, they're happy. But again, one more challenge. There is also another layered product that we integrated in the museum package. It's an outdoor LED display, 2 meter by 3 meter at 1.8 millimeter pitch, and protected against salty water and harsh sunlight. It is a great new product. We showcased it on our booth at last Met in Amsterdam. That was not even, the product was not even in the market at time of engineering. It was really an exclusive. And for the side story again, I had to fly over to Shenzhen to commission this very new product. And long story short, amazing contrast and picture quality for an outdoor display, and for the fact that the audience will be seated just a little more than 2 meters away from it. That's fantastic. For those who know LED, you understand this is a performance. Well, of course, LEDs are not the only part of this engineering challenge. We had to design what we call something exceptional, an ad hoc infrastructure to prepare as much as possible the installation of the museum systems. So fiber optics, 10 gigabits network predisposition, strongly administrated Wi-Fi, Starlink 5G, Crestron, DMM-VX, Dante media transport, special user interfaces that extend the usual Accumendo set of features to give control of the show elements to the crew. In brief, a great cradle for the museum equipments, and that improves also, by the same time, the overall AVIT and domotics on board. Okay, we have not enough time in this keynote to go into more details of the system architecture and design options we have to go through, but you're welcome to come and talk to us afterwards. We will be happy to share the details. Yet I would finish this technology chapter with one more difficulty we had to overcome. Shipyard's design encompassed all what the boat construction would need. But the power supply dimensioning, the early engineering, was not in line at all with a huge 16-meter resolution, high-resolution LED tunnel. Roughly at 80 kilowatt maximum power, the boat's electrical distribution was just half the requirement for both vessel and museum system. Moreover, a big problem. It happens that LED cabinets, when powering up, draw a lot of energy, be it reactive or active surges, a lot of inrush currents, often followed by some leaks to the mass. Well, this was obviously one of the most insidious problems to solve. So we had to integrate power distribution units with controlled and metered outlets and do some programming to start all the cabinets very progressively and monitors all the time both power consumption and room temperature from the dashboard on the iPad. So I'd like to thank Good Products. Philippe Dude is in the show, and the Good Products are worth having a look. It was easy and efficient, and eventually we had to build an independent power distribution circuit exclusively for the museum equipment. And there's another sneaky problem that appeared. It's then you need galvanic isolation for the additional shore power coming in, along with adaptation and tolerance to bad quality local power supply. So in fact, the need, the requirements, boils down to getting a shore converter, but not on board, to get it dockside. So it was a great opportunity to work with Damen, who just designed with Mac Energy in the Netherlands the B-Shore that fits perfectly the specifications. You see it, branded Art Explorer. It's one of the first B-Shore in the world. It's a great solution, and there's more to come with Mac Energy. They have energy in their DNA, what they say. More to come in terms of greener power supply, and I hope that next year I will deliver a keynote about how we managed to get some green power supply with this to power the Catamaran. But now, the interesting part, I guess, the show. Well, guys, you are privileged. You are very privileged. As we are just before the public, who can see it, just before. Here is a glimpse of it. A video from Malta yesterday, shot by my friend Julien Abril. It's created for Art Explorer in collaboration with the Louvre, the museum in Paris, by a company called Graphics Emotion, and Julien Abril is the founder of this company. A successful and talented Canadian company. The show is mesmerizing. It makes me realize how much content matters. Something I always deeply believed. Well, again, no time to go into more details, but all of you, you're invited to come by yourself and watch the show on board during one of the stopovers around the Mediterranean in the next 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we are near the end of this story and the beginning of another one. Today, at the very moment I began this speech, Art Explorer, which is in Malta, as you know now, is the center attraction of the first Art Explorer Festival that just kicked off minutes ago, 10 o'clock, for the press. So we are in real time, we are in sync with the event. Again, it's free for the public, remember that, it's free for the public. So our Acumendo Arsenic team in Malta just finished a few hours ago the first installation of all museum systems on board. It was a challenge. It was tough. It was rewarding though. And well, I have emotional thoughts for them, for my team that is in Malta. And for the Art Explorer clients, you see Philippe Rivière, Emmanuel Ducron, well, a lot of people we love, Alex, and all these people have been working for more than 2 weeks now to set this for the first time on board Art Explorer and kick off this fantastic adventure. So I've got, and I think Jean-Pierre also, my longtime friends and partner, we have some thoughts for them. Oh, there's one more thing. I think you get the allusion. There's one more thing. Actually, a couple of thoughts to close this story. Let's think for a minute about the future of sailing catamarans. Well, greener than most superyacht by construction, by the way they are built and by what they are and the way that the wind pushes them. Great diversity of floor plans and packages with high habitability for their size and important and great stability. But okay, I'll stop there because I'm no expert. And my goal today is to start with you the conversation, as I strongly feel that sailing catamarans are cool, really cool. And I will conclude with a perspective about the future of large architectural LED displays, because this one carries an LED tunnel for a museum, for an immersive show. But triggers so many ideas. This Art Explorer project, actually the most interesting and passionate of all projects I've been involved in the past 20 years. I celebrate this year 20 years in the yacht, in the super yacht business. I started with Pierre Mellon and Jean-Pierre in 2004. Well, this project made us realize that there are so many ideas to develop, bringing together both digital content-driven spaces and large, high-resolution architectural displays that fit the curves, the shapes, the style of the vessel, and take the guests on board to fascinating experiences. So you are more than welcome to extend the conversation, call us and try to discuss ideas. I mean, something good may come out of all this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It is indeed one very cool catamaran.
It's a super
What an amazing project.